Hi, boys and girls. Tonight I have another book to share with you. This is another one of Miss Farthing's favorites. I know I say I have a lot of favorites, but I have a whole bucket in the classroom that's labeled Miss Farthing's favorites, and I like to share them with you at the end of the year. This book that I'm going to read today is kind of a silly one. It is called Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan was her name. Can you say all that back to me? I'll listen. Did you say it? It's a long name. Do you have a name that's long? That is that long? Do you have Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan? Do you have a 7-word name? We will have to read this story. Are you ready? Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan was her name, by Ted Arnold. Look at this picture on the front. What is she doing? Yuck. I sure hope that you don't do that. The first page doesn't have any words on it, any story words. It just has a picture of a nursery. A nursery is where the babies are at in the hospital when they're first born. And you can see that there's a man taking a picture of a baby that's in the nursery. And on the baby's bassinet, where she's sleeping, her bed, it says her name. And you can see that the name does not fit on the little tag. It has to go underneath the tag. And it says Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan. Whew. She had a funny name, but she wasn't much to blame. Her mother gave it to her, just the same. Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan was her name. Well, she had 2 peculiar hairs on her head. One was black and one was red. Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan was her name. Look at her. There's her black hair, and there's her red hair. She had 2 eyes that were quite a sight. One looked left, and the other looked right. Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan was her name. She's painting a picture of herself. Do you remember what it's called when you make a picture of yourself? A self-portrait. If you notice in a lot of the pictures, there are people with cameras taking pictures. There's one there. There's one here. And we talked about that the story started. Oh, look, there he is there taking pictures when she was a newborn. And the story started at the very beginning with someone taking her picture in the nursery. She had 2 holes in the bottom of her nose. One for her fingers and one for her toes. Yuck. I definitely hope you don't put your toes in your nose. And I really hope you don't put your fingers in your nose. There's her 2 hairs and her 2 eyes that go different ways. Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Bogan, Logan was her name. There's that camera again. Here it looks like she's picking her nose with her toes. And this girl at the campfire is saying, "She's so talented." She had 2 teeth inside of her mouth. One went north and the other went south. Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan was her name. So she only had 2 teeth. One went up and one went down. There's that cameraman again. They're running. She looks like she's running to the dentist office, and the dentist is holding a book that says Dental History. So I guess she made history by only having 2 teeth. She had 2 arms that flopped all around. When she walked, they would drag on the ground. Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan was her name. So look, she's walking around. It looks like the track at a school. It says homecoming game tonight. And her arms are dragging on the floor. Looks like she's a cheerleader and she can wrap her legs around her arms. Can you do that? Do you see the cameraman on this page? She had 2 feet that were wide and flat, each one bigger than a bathroom mat. Do you think it would be easy to dance with a bathroom mat size feet? Do you see the cameraman? Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan was her name. She had 1 brain inside of her head. What it thought is what it said. Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan was her name. So she's reading a speech at graduation, which is when you finish school, and it says valedictorian on her speech. That means that she was the top person in her class, and she got to give a speech to the whole school. Looks like all the graduates are jumping on top of her. And look right here in the corner, cameraman. Some folks say that her breath smells sweet, but me, I'd rather smell her feet. Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan was her name. Yuck. Who wants to smell her feet? It looks like now maybe she has a friend. She's walking through, it looks like some fish stuff, and she's at a fishy food factory. And these people over here say, hey, I know her. It's her first day on the job. So she must have got a new job where she works with fish. And then if you look in this picture, her feet must be stinky after work. But this guy sure loves to smell her feet. If rain makes flowers sweet and clean, there ought to be a downpour on Magdalene. Oh! So it looks like Catalina Magdalena was getting married, but what started to happen? Started to rain. There they are, dancing in the rain. Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan, Smith was her name. Remember, when you get married, your name changes. So she has this long name that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 names in it. And then she gets married and has to add another name on the end of it. So now the husband that she married had a last name of Smith. And they're driving away. It says, just married. Smith? Smith? What kind of a name is Smith? They think that Smith is such a simple name. Do you see the photographer up in the helicopter? The end. Look, at the very end, it shows Catalina Magdalena and her husband, Mr. Smith, and a little girl, and they're looking through lots and lots and lots and lots of pictures. So they like to document their life. And something really cool that actually one of my students last year pointed out that I'd never realized, and I've had this book since I was a kid. If you look closely, remember in the beginning of the story, it said that one of Catalina's hairs was black and one was red. So here's her black hair, and there's her red hair. If you look at this baby that they had, she has 3 hairs. One's black, one's red, and one is blonde. What color hair is the dad's hair? Blonde. So I thought that was a really cool detail that one of my girls last year noticed. But there they all are at home. A big happy family. And then at the end of the book, it talks about that you can sing these words as a song. So it says that it used to be an old camp song, and people used to sing it in all different versions. So sometimes whenever you're at camp, like there are stories and there are songs that are passed down from generation to generation. We've talked a lot about nursery rhymes and fairy tales that are passed down and told from each family member. So it talks about how there are lots of different versions of this. So here are some of the different versions. She had two eyes that were quite a sight. One looked left and one looked right. Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan was her name. That's what this book was. But on this side, it gives us some other options that some people say. Magdalena, Catalina, Hoopensteiner, Wanadana, Hoka, Poka, Poka was her name. Or Agdalena, Magdalena, Hopataka, Wakataka, Hoka, Moka, Poka was her name. Or Madalena, Catalina, Whoopastina, Wilma, Nina, Oopsie Doopsie Whoopsie was her name. Magdalena, Hoopenstein, Walkendime, Hokey Pokey Loca was her name. Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Wobbelheimer, Hogan, Logan, Bogan was her name. Madalena, Catalina, Hoopsa, Scada, Wada, Dada, Hoka, Loca, Poka was her name. Or, Magdalena, Hagalina, Uka, Waka, Taka, Waka, Uka, Moka, Poka was her name. So there's lots of different versions that different families and different people around the world say for this song and this story. But I think it's a cute book. It is one that I've always loved, and it makes everybody giggle. So I wish that I could be reading to you this in person, but this will have to do. I hope that you have a fabulous day. I hope that you can get outside and play, that you can find something to read and enjoy your day. It was so great to see some of you yesterday. It made Miss Farthing's heart so, so, so happy. And I hope that I'll get to see the rest of you on the next pickup day, which is tomorrow on Friday. And if not, we'll arrange some way to get your things to you. But I loved seeing as many of you as I could today. Those sweet smiling faces made my day wonderful. So I miss you. Keep reading. This is an AR book, and I will post the code so you can take an AR test on Catalina, Magdalena, Hoopensteiner, Walendiner, Hogan, Logan, Bogan. And if you ever have a baby and you name your baby something like this, I want to meet your baby. All right? Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye, boys and girls. Air hugs.